Eight of Cups, Ten of Wands. Tired of something, you're walking away from it. You're moving on from doing it yourself. The Sun, to be happy. Everyone wants the Sun. Everyone wants to have that joyous, like, feeling that, like, that bubbles up, you know, when you're, like, super happy and excited to be alive. It's like, you know, kids that are just really excited for something to happen. They just can't contain themselves kind of happiness. That's what the Sun is. It's excitement, it's vibrancy, it's happiness. You know, this kid is having the time of his life. It's freaking, it's some kind of horse, you know. You have the King of Wands and Death coming out. This King of Wands right here could be a fire sign, could be just someone that's very handsome and older. It could be someone that's very energetic and creative, or all of the above. He's very attentive and alert. You know, he's looking at this death that he just had, like, in the face, and being like, okay, death to old ways, right? Death to old ways and moving on. The Eight of Cups and the Ten of Wands exactly show that. In order to go and get this happiness, the sun shining brightly on you, you gotta face it head on, and, you know, figure out where you have to go. It's about dreaming for the future, but it's also going to be about illusions, you know, being delusional with where you think you are going. Maybe you're very delusional with whatever you're holding and being burdened with. Delusional with some sort of love or family relationships, you know. We have the Eight of Cups here, so it could be a group of people or just the love that you were investing. You have to let go sometimes because it's not the right one. There's a death to it. The death to being delusional. And a king would face this head on. You know, he's sitting up straight in his chair, very confident, you know, like looking death straight in the eye. Nine of Pentacles. Look at that lady. Glamorous, luxurious. She's in her own garden. She's enjoying the fruits of her labor. He either wants someone to join him in his garden of, you know, his garden of whatever you want to call it, or he wants to grow, you know, himself, you know, and be secure. That's part of his happiness, right? And security, but being able to enjoy it, and it looks like he will. There's a lot of golden energy when you look towards the sun, you know, like you get to walk in your own sunlight and enjoy where you've gotten to. The King of Pentacles. So exactly that. Like, this person is stable and it could be earth or a fire sign. It could be just a man that's very stable in a lot of different aspects of his life and isn't afraid to go for things. The King of Wands, you know, has a lot of fiery, you know, passion behind him and his approach to things. The King of Pentacles is, you know, very stable in the way he thinks and moves. And you could tell because he lives lavishly. The man is not looking for anything around him. He has everything in place, right? He's basking in the sunlight in his kingdom. Justice with the Page of Swords. So the Page of Swords is about curiosity and thoughts, right? There's justice here with the way that they're thinking about things, because as soon as you start thinking new ideas about your situation, maybe a situation that you constantly walked away from or had to, you knew you were carrying a burden that was too heavy. So you have to walk away, put an end to it. Sayonara with the Death card. Stop being delusional and, you know, and thinking like it's going to get somewhere that's not, you know. The King of Wands, the King of Pentacles would be very forthright in themselves and sit straight up and look at it face in the face and be like, okay, I'm putting an end to this to get my happiness. The Sun card is the most happy card of the deck, you know. So in order to get that excitement and that happiness and remain in your king, you know, your kingly ways, you know, have, you know, everything, maybe a counterpart that's, you know, equally as lush, you know, like think lush gardens and just the bird, you know, she has a falcon on her hand you know, and she's, you know, tending to her garden. There's grapes, and it's just beautiful. She has beautiful clothes on. She just is happy, right? In order to go after that happiness, that pure happiness, you have to put an end to old ways. And that takes a lot of skill, because you have to go back and forth a few times in order to figure out, like, do I do this? Do I walk away from this? Sometimes everything that you're doing is not right. And it's always good to check yourself and wonder, is there anything that I could be doing better? Is there anything that I need? Is there anything that I constantly am thinking about, that I'm yearning about, that I'm not getting? Is there any way to get this in the current situation that I'm in? If not, okay, well, I have to move on. I'm doing everything myself. Put an end to what I think would happen, or what I think this relationship should be. That's another thing. We get stuck in the could be, would be, should be, you know, of like, well, I thought this person was going to be this way and they have so much potential. We get caught in the potential of people. And it's good to, you know, look at, you know, at people with potential. Of course, everyone has potential, but if they act on it themselves, if they're capable of going after things, you know, and actually putting things into action here, you know, to get there. Everything is how you think, you know, and I think this person is having some sort of justice moment with how they're thinking about things, which is causing a death moment, you know, a regeneration of saying goodbye to all this ick and saying hello to all this yellow. Look at how golden it is over here when you finally just say goodbye, right, to bad things, bad thinking, bad ways, bad relationships with people. A lot of gold energy. And the Emperor pops out. That's how you get to the Emperor. From the king to the Emperor. There's only one way to do it, you know, and you have to grow and become wiser than kings. Kings are very secure in their approach, but there's still things to learn, right? The Emperor's connected, you know, like in all different ways, and that's the only way to get there. And it's a very direct, light approach if you look at it that way. If you look towards the sun and you go after actually what makes you really, what would make you happy, and you stay in this like king-like way, you know, you can grow with the right people, you'll become an emperor. If you make the right decisions. And I think this person or you is making a new decision on how you're thinking about things and moving on from it. So go after what makes you happy.